And the reason I ask this is because I've seen this happen a bunch of times now. And I don't really mean the question necessarily from an ethical standpoint, because, there's tons of third-party figures. They're not licensed, right? They're technically illegal, but we buy them anyway. I more so mean from a quality standpoint. We can address the ethics standpoint if you want. But this is something actually that one of the, viewers in the chat mentioned. Sorry if I forgot your name. But this is the Juice Girl, 1/6 scale, the Goddess of Death.
Fuck?
Yeah, it's a very interesting company name. But this is clearly a Hot Toys recast. And it gives people an opportunity who want Hella to get Hella for $184 shipped, compared to paying maybe $400 or $450 shipped. And it still looks pretty good, albeit not quite Hot Toys quality. This has happened too with the Groot, the Hot Toys Groot. I know they made a knockoff version of that at one point, unlicensed version of that. So Optic, I want to ask you, should collectors do these type of things? Like, the one, the Hot Toys Anakin, we called him Anna Karen because he had that crazy hair. Remember? Should collectors purchase these if they're desperate for a Hella, or should they just maybe save up and buy the real Hella?
So I don't know anything about this Juice Girl. Let's pretend that this is as close to Hot Toys, right? Because that Karen is not, I wouldn't even recommend that because it's so awful. So, so let's pretend that this is Hot Toys quality, right? Let's just assume that it's Hot Toys quality. And it's $184 plus shipping. We're probably looking at $220 here, something around that realm, right? So,
well, with kit shipping is free, so $184 shipped. So it's
pretty $184 shipped. Okay, so I guess the question is, how bad do you want an Hella? Right. And me personally, right, like being in collecting, I don't see any third-party figure that I want that bad that I'm willing to. And it's the same reason why I don't buy knockoff Jordans.
Right.
No one knows that it's knockoff, but you. So you're in this collecting where, and there's nothing wrong. If you buy the Hella and you're happy with the Juice Girl, go for it, right? Like, I'm not shaming anyone. I got third-party figures. We had like The Last of Us, but I don't see any third-party figure recast that I want that bad to go this route, because no one would know but you. So, but being a collector, you're kind of like, oh man, if I had like another, because this is 184, let's say 200, whatever the case is, conversion, whatever, and then you can buy a Hella for 400, right? So it's half the price. It's not impossible to grab a Hella. It's just, you just have to pay more. Now, being in this hobby, how far do you value Hella? Are you willing to spend 400 or just 200? Because the counter argument to this is, you can get that 200 with the way Hot Toys are pricing themselves right now. If you wait for a good time, you can buy a Hot Toys for 175. So the question is, how bad do you want a Hella? Would you sacrifice buying another Hot Toy, which is, what you're going to get, like the quality, or get a third party, which is, kind of close to Hella, if you really want a Hella? I guess the Mars Jose too, Mars Toys Joker, he counts as well. Let's pretend he's a really good figure. Me personally, I don't mind getting this, but I don't badly want a Hella or a DX09 to get them for this price. And I understand if you do. I totally do. I get it. But me personally, I'd rather get that, let's say 200, and buy, I don't know what they're pricing, like whatever it is that's on sale out there. It's just a personal preference. Like, if I badly wanted a Hella, I'd probably fork out the 400. Honestly,
I would too, personally.
If I badly wanted that, or that Joker, let's say this is a grail for me that I missed out, knowing that I could afford it and I could just kind of like, but if I don't really want it that bad, then I just wouldn't get it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of like, okay, if I want, let's say Christopher Reeve Superman, I wanted to have that, and I have that. But let's say I don't have it and they made a third party Christopher Reeve Superman, I still think I would go with a more expensive route because I badly want him. That's just my take on it. Now, if you just want a Hella standing there for 184, this is not a bad option at all. But again, it all depends on, like, if it's a mid character for you, I guess I'll be like, all right, I'll take my 184 and buy, I don't know, a Tusken Raider, something like that. He's a mid character for me too, but it's a Hot Toy. So it depends, I guess. There's no right or wrong answer for me in here. You do whatever you want, but for me, there's no third party that I want so badly that I'll do it, or it's so expensive that I can't go on eBay or BST to fork out another 200.
Right.
So that's where I stand on this. So
Right. That's kind of how I feel about it too, Optical. But Carlos, what do you think, bro? Should people purchase these recasts of Hot Toys maybe if they're on a tighter budget? You know, they want to pick up something that's not quite grail price. What do you think?
People can do what the fuck they want to do, man. You know what I mean? If they want to pick up recast, pick up a recast. If you want to kit bash your own hella, kit bash your own hella. I don't give a fuck. It's your collection. But with that said,
what would you do? What would you do?
I wouldn't buy this fucking shit. Like if someone wants to give this to me, I'll fucking post it on eBay that same fucking day. There's no chance. Recast, it's like,
I mean, it looks good.
I mean, it does, but I don't give a shit. It's still fake. So for me, it's like, you know, like when people was like, oh, like people buy like fake Rolex or fake Louis Vuitton or fake Gucci. I'm like, hey, do what you want. But it's just at the end of the day, it's fake. And for me, I'm just gonna rather get the real thing than this. That's for me though. But people can do what the fuck people want to do. I mean, I've seen people go and get that Anakin, the Karen one, and reroute it, and it looks decent. But for me, I know that it's fake, and I got into this hobby because it was, you know, more of a premium hobby, and I want to be able to collect the actual hobby and thing that I bought. You know, that I'm getting, not like a knockoff version.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get a bootleg, as you know, of that. It is like I don't want to be like, yeah, you know what, I can't afford Nike, so I'm gonna go get like you know, the high end ones or the collectible. I'm gonna go get a fake one. I just don't believe in that. But I mean, it's people's money, so if they want to, they can do what the fuck they want to do. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So hey, if it's in your hobby, I mean, it's your collection, and you're happy with it. Hey, buy fucking 50 Hellas for all I give a damn. It's not gonna matter to me. But that's just the way I see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah.
That's true, bro. Yeah. At the end of the day, do what you want with your money. You know, but to me, like I would wait personally and try to pick up another one. I don't know that they reissue this one anytime soon, but you never know, man. You never know what they're gonna do. So you know,
Right.
they could remake it, or maybe
The
Hella
only
shows up.
times I would be maybe okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one that I would be okay with it. Would be the 1966 Robin and Batman, because it's such an old figure.
Right,
That maybe
right.
the recast, maybe you get like pieces that are already, you know, breaking or messing up with your figure. Maybe something like that. But this is relatively new. I've owned.
Yeah, it came out like what, 3 to 4 years ago.
Yeah, so it's not like it's totally falling apart or any of that. So there's maybe some exceptions, but even then, I would always try to go for, you know, the authentic version of that, because
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day, you know, I don't know. I guess for me, my collection is supposed to be, how do I put this? Because not meaningful, because you can buy fake shit and still be meaningful to you. It doesn't matter. It's more like,
Legitimate, you mean?
I guess legitimate, right? Like I want to make sure I'm collecting. Like when I got into Hot Toys, I wasn't like, yeah, I got into Hot Toys because it's the most realistic thing. Now I'm like, now I want to get the knockoff version of that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
and considering the price too, because you can have this for 400 if you like search enough. And
Yeah,
this
Dude,
is
I've seen some for like 325. to be honest.
325. Yeah. So the difference is not that massive. Right. This is
Right.
not like $1,000 where you'd be
No.
like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm
yeah.
saving 700. So for 400, again, if you really love Hela, and maybe there's people who love Hela because there's people who love Loki. So
It's true.
so if you really love Hela, then I don't see any problem with you forking out another extra 200, right? Like you're already forking
Right.
out 184. And also if you don't love Hela that much, so this is where the conundrum starts, because you're like, so you don't like it that much, why would you like kind of like, okay, save that 184 and get a hot toy, right? Like if you really
Yeah.
just want to spend money. So this is kind of like, again, where I get it, but I also get why no one would buy it, you know, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need Jordans in your life. So if you're buying one, cool, but you can't play basketball with that because it's gonna break.
Right.
So I get both arguments, both sides of the arguments here, but I tend to not go third party. Like unless there's like a massive improvement, like Bane. There's like third party Banes that are better than Hot Toys with no joints and something like that. So I get that. Like third party Jokers, which are rooted here, pre-in art, right? Like pre-in art,
Right.
I get that. But like with this Hela, especially given the price, I don't think you need to go this route. Yeah, you could. But yeah, it's not a
And
massive.
it's some things third party optical, like, Cloud and Sephiroth, like you're not getting those licensed. So it's not in a good way. So you kind of have to go third party, or like that Scorpion. No one's
Did
making
you guys remember that back in the Mark 47 hit like that $1,500 mark?
that. Yeah.
There were people that would get their Mark 46 that were still really expensive figures, by the way. But because the Mark 47 was like the grail, it was like the white whale. Like no one could get it because it was so expensive.
Yeah.
The Mark 46 was like $800, but I will see some who had like, I guess, extras, and they would just paint it or get it custom painted so that it would match the Mark 47. It's kind of like that.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Like it's fake at the end.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah. Well, guys, do what you want to do, but at the end of the day, let us know what you think about purchasing third-party recasts like that. It's an interesting decision for collectors.